All right, everybody. So today we're going to talk about the cell membrane. So what you see right here is three different type of cells. So this is actually for the students who missed on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Probably you should be able to catch up with this video. So we talk about an introduction to cell lesson on that day, on Monday. So when you look at this title, so what you see here, this graphic is an animal cell, and what you see right here on the right side is a plant cell, and then what you see here at the bottom is a bacterial cell. So when you look at the structure, it's very complicated and it has a lot of structures. So today I'm going to focus on only one structure in all the three cells, which is in common, but that is the cell membrane. So if you see here, cell membrane on animal cell, and if you look at the plant cell, you also see cell membrane or plasma membrane right here. The plasma membrane and cell membrane is both are same. And if you look at the bacterial cell, it's right here. It's the interior of the cell. That's the plasma membrane as well. So all these three places, all these three cells do have a plasma membrane. Now the reason why it is called plasma membrane because it is very fluid in nature and it's very flexible membrane, and it's also considered to be a living membrane, and the materials can go in and out of the cell. It is highly regulated or controlled. So in the same way, in the animal cell, molecules can go in and out of the cell through the plasma membrane in a very regulated fashion. So it's not like a complete access through. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a small piece of the cell membrane and we're going to magnify it, and we're going to look at the molecular level. All right, so what you see right here is actually a molecular level structure of the cell membrane. So it's very highly interesting and it's complex as well. So look at the cell membrane, a piece of the cell membrane. So it looks like a kind of sandwich model. And this is the outside of the cell membrane. This is the inside of the cell membrane, which is the cytoplasm right here. And this is outside of the cell. The main component of the cell membrane is this tiny little structures, which is magnified right here with a circle and two tails. And this molecule is called phospholipid. Phospholipid is nothing but a lipid molecule or an oil molecule with a phosphate in it. So look at the structure. It has a head region and two tail region, and the head region is hydrophilic, which means they like water. They love to attract water. And the hydrophobic area, which is the tail, they do not like water. That means it repel water. Look what's happening, the way it is arranged. All the hydrophobic tails are facing each other and forming a phospholipid bilayer. Bi means two. It's two layers forming using phospholipid. So it's a continuous layer of phospholipid. Now, the physical property of this molecule is it's very flexible, and if you hit it, it just go bend it and it come back to normal. And so if you look at that middle region right here, it's also non-polar, which means no charge. So if a water molecule tried to get through this space, it cannot get through this non-polar region because remember, oil repel water, so the water will be kicked out of this space. But now what you see here, this yellow region right here, that's the head region of the phospholipid, which is hydrophilic. That means that region like water. So let's look at the other components in the cell membrane. You can see this purple colored molecule right here, which is going all the way through, it extends from one side of the cell to the other one. These type of proteins are called integral proteins because it go all the way through. And also it has a channel inside. You can see certain molecules can pass through. We call them protein channels or transport protein. This is a kind of protein channels the water molecules use to pass in and out of the cell. Another component of the cell membrane is the cholesterol. You can see that this cholesterol makes the membrane more fluidy, and also it keeps the phospholipid molecules separate, and also it give a kind of support to the membrane as well. So what you see here is there is another different type of protein, alpha helix protein right here. They act as a different function like cell-to-cell recognition and all. So right here is the globular protein, which is attached to the surface on the top. It doesn't go all the way through. There's one right here. There's one right here as well. So they don't go all the way through. We call this type of protein peripheral protein. And another one last component right here is these chains right here, which is in dark blue color and also in green color. These type of chains or tails, we call them carbohydrate chains, which is nothing but sugar molecules. So these sugar molecules attach to this lipid. Also, sometimes it is attached to the protein. If it is attached to the protein, we call them a glycoprotein. And if it is attached to the lipid, we call them glycolipid. So these carbohydrate tails are meant for cell-to-cell recognition. That means it helps the cell to identify the foreign body and also help to recognize the foreign body, and also if it is a foreign body, it try to attack it like our white blood cells try to engulf a bacterium. So it's a kind of ID check. It check the ID of the cell, whether it's belong to the organism or it's a foreign body. So that's all, guys. The structure of the cell membrane. Remember, it's a lipid bilayer and a protein composition, and the lipid bilayer is a very fluid membrane, and these proteins, integral proteins, transport proteins, and the globular proteins, and also the peripheral proteins makes this membrane very functionally um, complex. So it pretty much it really helps the cell to be selectively permeable. That means it only some molecules it helps to pass through and keep all the other molecules out of the cell. I hope this helped you to understand the structure of the cell membrane. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or ask me in the classroom. Thank you.